Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Football Friday, boys and girls. We got an incredible lineup to get you ready for the weekend. Gianni the Greek leads us off with the Steam Report. Teddy covers. We're going to cover Oklahoma and Alabama, the Seahawks and the Rams. And we're going to do, of course, Sell Me. Marco's going to break down Chiefs versus Broncos, Notre Dame, Pitt, and he's going to bring us his wing sauce of the week. Dan and I are going to wrap things up with our Pick 5 Super Contest segment, and we got some free plays for everybody. Like I told Dan, nothing gets the weekend started like a Brooklyn Nets player prop. Don't worry, I got you covered. All right, hit that like button, and let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, it's Friday. Every sport basically is going except baseball. Let's get started. It's Football Friday. Let's start with some college football. Let's start with college football.
And coming off a nice little winning day, we'll always take that, of course. Two good football games. I mean, one's a really chalky one, but still, we're seeing good action. Let me pull up the latest that we have. In this one, hold on. All right. Louisville, Clemson, under money. If you look at like those percentage sites that tell you where the action is, it's going to show you that over is where the public money is. I bet you it's going to show you 6 out of 10, 70% on the over. Here's what I can tell you. Looking right now in the back end of a book that has a lot of recreational players, they're getting under money from the recreational bettors. They got under money from the sharp bettors at 51.5 also. So you have a situation where you have the public and the sharps on the under. That's why you're looking at 50 at some of these sharper books. Remember, 50, 51, those are some key totals. And for the book to come down through that, rest assured, you're getting a lot of pressure from both sides. Because if this was two-way action where you had so much over money from the public, sharps come in, take the under 51.5, that would help balance it out. That's not what you're seeing. You're seeing pressure on that under. So I think that's public and sharps on the same side. And then Louisville getting the money from the recreational bettors. And when you look at Louisville right now, they're ranked like in the top 20. All right. They're barely in my top 30 power rating wise. Why? Because they've had the 68th toughest, almost the 70th toughest schedule in all of college football. So Louisville's had a very easy strength of schedule. And I think that's why you're seeing that 3 getting picked off. Like whenever it's gone to 3, it opened 3.5. Sharps took the 3.5, went to 3. Piggybackers took the 3. That pushed it to 2.5, but you're getting 2.5 from the public on Louisville. Anytime a book is going to 3, that's getting picked off. So on the side, you have a difference of opinion between the sharps and the public. Sharps on the dog, public on the favorite, but both are on the under. Oregon, Minnesota. Now, this is a difference of opinion on the total. Sharps went under when this line opened up. Public is going over, obviously. Low total, Oregon, they're going to bet it over, even though they haven't been, that over team they have been historically. Also, line has moved up in favor of Oregon. We saw some take back at 26. You're going to see that a lot when the line moves significantly. We'll talk about that in college basketball. Don't let that really scare you. With that said, again, Oregon's going to get the money. They're not attracting any Minnesota action except, like I said, from the sharps when it got as high as 26. But yeah, it's one of those games that, not a sexy game. High spread, low total, nothing to get excited about. But yeah, that's what we got in college football today.
All right. Anything interesting going on with NFL that we need to be aware of?
No, because it's all about Saturday college football so far. Other than Purdy now saying he's starting in San Francisco and that 3 now got juiced. It already got bet. The look ahead was 1. That got bet up. Now it got the 3. Also, there was a ton of public money already fading Arizona and betting San Francisco. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes before they get the 3.5, because it's the later afternoon game also. So it's going to be a ton of one-sided action. And here's what I wanted to talk about real quickly in the NFL, since you brought it up. These lines that moved like that, the Chargers line, the San Francisco line, They all went from like pick 'em or -1 or even +1 look ahead to -3, key number of 3, all because of what happened on Sunday. That's a lot of recency bias factored into those threes that you're seeing on the NFL board for Sunday. Doesn't mean the dog's going to cover, but you are now paying a premium to back those favorites. So if you're going to lay that 3, have some conviction, because that look ahead was they were the dog or at a pick 'em. And again, the adjustment may be warranted, but it's a little significant when you get up to that key number of 3.
All right, we'll talk a little NBA. We got a ton of NBA games tonight. So where's the money coming in on NBA?
I narrowed it down to 3 sides that are legit. 504 Knicks -4.5 and 5. 510 Minnesota -11, and 512 New Orleans +10.5 and +10. I'm trying because again, all the lines move every single game. The line's going to move. My goal with the morning segment is to share those games that I think are going to attract the most betting action, to kind of let the bettors know what's going on in those games, or those that are either getting resistance, so I can share that, or not getting resistance. Like this one continues to get bet. And the goal is that you should already have your leans. And if you agree on it, then you get some confirmation. If you disagree, take a step back and look again. But Knicks, Minnesota, New Orleans. Real quickly, college basketball. Here's what you got to look at in college basketball, guys. Lines are going to move in both directions this early on because of the fact they just not efficient. You talk to all bookmakers, they're going to tell you this is a very difficult month for them to book. And nothing reflects that more than the line movements. When you get line movements like you're seeing in college basketball, it's usually because players are out, weather related. Like those are big factors that move the lines. In this case, this early on in college basketball, it's a case of the wise guys saying, no, your number's off. It's not even information based. It's just that a difference of opinion in power ratings. So when the line moves significantly, don't be surprised to see two-way action, because that's all we're getting in the month of November. And here, let me explain. Start off 842 Duke. Now, Duke's going to get money from the public, right? They're going to get bet on later in the day. What did the wise guys do? They come out and they lay 32.5. That was the look ahead. Within minutes, it got to 36. That didn't matter. They laid 36, 37. Then all the piggybackers dived on top, and it got as high as 39. That's when you saw take back on Indiana State. So now they're laying Duke and taking back Indiana State at 39. You need to decide, was Duke a dummy? Because those limits on overnights, those limits early before the off screens open up, those are low. For a couple nickel bets, you could get that Duke line from 32 up to 39. So if it's going to cost me a couple dimes to get it up to 39, and now I could put 10x that at plus 39, that may be my real side that I like. There's a lot of that going on. And that's the beauty of monitoring line movement, because we saw it with, I'll be quick, 844 Kentucky from 34 all the way up to minus 37. But at 39, Eastern Illinois got bet. Same thing, Michigan, minus 6, 7, 7.5, 8. The piggybackers laid the 8, not the betting syndicates. And then at 9.5, they came in and took TCU. They came in and took TCU at plus 9. Why? Because they got minus 6 over here, minus 7 over here, plus 9.5 over here, with almost very little risk. Or smaller bet here, bigger bet there. Like there's a lot going on that we have to try to decipher. 876 St. Mary's, same thing, from 11.5 up to 14.5. But North Texas took money at plus 16. 883 Gonzaga from minus 11 to minus 13.5. Arizona State took money at plus 15, plus 14.5. But there are two sides where we didn't see any resistance, and that's 862 DePaul plus 6, plus 5.5, and 888 Hawaii minus 14 and 15. So no resistance on DePaul and Hawaii, resistance on Duke, Kentucky, Michigan, St. Mary's, and Gonzaga. And what do those 5 teams have in common? They all are going to attract public money at the window tonight, because they are all high-profile elite programs that are heavily favored. That's going to happen every single day during the month of November, a little less in December, a little less in January, almost none in February, and then we get the March Madness.
They're doing the same thing with Carlos Prates. I'm literally watching it happen all morning. Like money comes in on Edwards. Someone asked me about it. I said, just wait. They're just trying to get the best of Carlos Prates.
Exactly.
Sure enough, money just starts coming in on Prates.
You see it every day, Andy. You
What a
watch this
game.
enough, it's like you know what's going to happen.
Yes. So you mentioned there's a little bit of hockey. You got a little
Yeah,
hockey
yeah,
for
and they
us?
swept the board.
Okay.
Sharp swept the board yesterday. Subscribers went 2-0. Here's what we got today. All totals. And I like them. They're opposite the public on all of these. Again, not heavy public action, but the few bets I did see are opposite. 24, Vancouver, Carolina, over 6.5, even money. Philly, St. Louis, under 5.5, even money. And then Islanders and Washington, over 6.5, even money. So all of these, they won at even money or plus, thinking it's a coin flip at worst. Over 6.5, Vancouver, Carolina, under 5.5, Philly, St. Louis, over 6.5, Islanders and Washington. Damn, we bring a lot of information for these guys in a very short time.
Great stuff. I did not sweep the board in NHL. I lost my player prop. I had a goalie over his saves. It's flying over. It's great. He leaves. The second period ends, and then he just takes himself out of the game.
That's the worst.
What are you doing? Get out there. Make a few more saves. Well, UFC, I don't know if anything's changed here. Dariush did miss weight, so now I'm going to probably be on St. Denis in some form or fashion. I see a ton of money coming in on Malcolm Wellmaker over his new opponent, and ton of money coming in on Klein over Angie Hill. Anything change for you?
No, and I like them both. I mean, again, the line's just gotten way out of hand, but I don't see any value in either of those dogs. But one favorite that did get my attention, and I agree with you, I'm on Dariush. It's no secret. I gave it out even on Bet On It, the UFC show I did like a week and a half ago. I got good line value, a little bit of closing line value, but the way they match up, when I saw them stand next to each other, she's just too big for Dariush, I think, just too much power. We'll see how that happens. But the one favorite that caught my attention and got my money yesterday was Bo Nickel in his fight with Vieira. And here's the reason for that, Andy. Had he not looked the way he did against De Ridder, who we now know is legit, had he not lost to Brendan Allen, he'd be fighting for a title. Now, we know, obviously, that was an ugly look, quitting against Brendan Allen. But still, that loss isn't as bad now. With that said, had Bo Nickel not fought De Ridder, what would this line be? Had he not lost the decision even against De Ridder, controversial, what would this line be? Anything other than that result, this line would be much different. I think this line is a big reaction to that one single result. I don't think it's warranted because they fought for less than 10 minutes. Like, anything can happen in a 10-minute fight. I think there's a lot of randomness. Not saying Nickel would beat De Ridder now, but just saying that big line movement, the adjustment, let's not forget, he was like a -1,000 favorite in that fight, 800, whatever he was. He lost, but now you're getting him at a huge discount against an older Vieira who's coming off a win against Gore, and that's the only reason this price is this low. His best years are behind him. I like Nickel there.
Love it. It's a jam-packed weekend. I can only imagine what you have up at WagerTalk. Let us know what you got.
UFC package is up there. 8 bets in there already with a 5%. So with that package is good sitting there. College football, won 10 of 12 weeks. I'm coming off a losing week, but already 4-0 in college football this week. We're going to progress towards our mean of being number 1 in profit. I'm going to have a kick-ass Saturday card. That's already up there. Sunday NFL as well. That card's up there. Pair of 4%. And, of course, our Steam Room on Sunday will go live heading into that final hour. I'll be back on Last Call Saturday and Sunday. Best of luck. If you're betting college football and NFL, you're already on board. So let's just do some damage this weekend. And good luck to you in the UFC as well, brother.
Yeah, let's have a big weekend. What a bettable card in UFC 322. Gianni the Greek, thank you so much. Great stuff this week, getting us ready for the weekend. All right, what do we have up at WagerTalk here? I did not have a great night last night, full disclosure. Lost in NBA, lost that NHL play. We did hit our NFL prop, so that was awesome. Just barely gets over. But we have our Sunday pack that is up for NFL. Don't get that. We have a special on my page, wt.budge/a. I'll get you Sunday and Monday Night Football props that we have up. So looking to build off of last night's win. NBA props are up for tonight. We got a couple of them in there. I'm going to give out one on all around the world. And we're debuting boxing. We've been paper trading boxing for a while. We put out our first bet officially to clients last week. It hit. And folks at WagerTalk are gracious enough to let us do half price to try and build this thing up. I want to show you we can build bankrolls with boxing. So it's only $7.50 for our boxing best bet. And of course, we got our 5% UFC best bet. Absolute ton going on over at WagerTalk here. You can get there on my page at wt.buzz/AL, up 30 units in November. So really humming along. Speaking of humming along, Teddy Covers. Coming off a nice weekend last weekend in NFL. We got football to talk about, Teddy, but I sent you a message earlier. I want to get your thoughts on the Thunder. I'm trying to not overreact to this being one of the best teams I've ever seen. It might be the deepest team I've ever seen in the NBA. This team can sit guys, and they got plenty. I've never seen an NBA team that's like they got too many guys on their team. What's your take on the Thunder? I know it's early. I know I'm overreacting, but I'm blown away by this team.
So I had a great NFL Sunday last Sunday, swept the board. And then this week I decided to step in front of the Oklahoma City Thunder a couple of times. Yeah. I stepped in front of them twice. And neither one was competitive. The Warriors got annihilated. The Lakers got annihilated. Games were over by halftime. There was no, let's sweat out the fourth quarter. The quotes from the opposing coaches and the opposing players after the games were speaking up Oklahoma City pretty good. In my power ratings, I've had the Thunder at least 3.5 points better than the number 2 team in the league all year. And the fact that my number said I could step in front of OKC twice this week tells me I don't have them high enough. So maybe they're 5 points. I mean, I've got Houston as the number 2 team right now. Cleveland, Denver, all in the mix, but Cleveland's got a bunch of injuries as we speak. But OKC may well be 5.5, 6 points better than the number 2 team in the league right now. Again, after getting my teeth kicked in betting against them twice this week, I'm not in any rush to bet against them again. Certainly not for the next couple of days. They are as deep as any team I've ever seen, Andy, at the NBA level. And they're really, really good, obviously. They were fair. Again, this is a team that was favored in every playoff game last year. All right. Home, road. And if the playoffs started today, they'd be favored in every playoff game again this year.
Yeah, incredible to watch. They just stumbled on this AJ guy who's just like, I can start on any team. It's just where do these guys come from? Anyway, Thunder are amazing, but let's talk about let's start with NFL. Chiefs Seahawks Rams. I want to get your thoughts on Seahawks Rams. I think this is the game of the week. I think this is just the two best teams in the NFC. I made the case that this is the best 1-2 in any division, the Seahawks and the Rams are laying -3, over-unders 48.5. NFL game of the week, in my opinion. What's your breakdown on this game?
So what does Seattle have to do to get some respect for the betting marketplace? Because it hasn't happened this season. They're 7-1 their last 8 games. They lost on opening day to San Francisco in a fluky game. And since that time, again, they haven't just been good. They've been dominant. 6 of their 7 wins have come by more than a touchdown. The only loss since opening day for Seattle, that came 38-35 to the Bucs. The Seahawks led that game by a touchdown with like a minute to play. And then there was a little bit of late game insanity. They ended up losing it. Darnold threw a pick, turnover on the final drive and set up the game-winning field goal for the Bucs. But Seattle has been in every single game. And again, the only loss is opening day came by 3 points. But why aren't they getting respect in the betting markets? Real simple. Sam Darnold versus a good defense. That's what the betting markets are concerned about. Just like we saw in the Bucs game where Darnold threw the key interception that cost them the game. And when you have Sam Darnold versus Matthew Stafford, Stafford's going to get the love. And Stafford's been as good as any quarterback in the league. All right. 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions over the last 6 weeks. That is a veteran quarterback who is locked in. You can say he's playing the best football of his entire career right now. Oh, by the way, the Seahawks, -4 turnover margin. And of course, LA, from a point spread perspective, they've been dominant. All right. They've only lost twice this year against the spread. And one of those 2 losses came in arguably the worst bad beat of the season when the Rams were going to kick the game-winning field goal and instead had it blocked and returned for a touchdown in Philadelphia. So they've been a point spread machine, basically. And they've been a point spread machine against Seattle. 8-1 against the spread the last 9 versus the Seabags. They covered both meetings last year. That being said, Seattle's won 10 straight road games. I mean, this team's been a monster on the highway. Better at home, better on the highway than on the road. And of course, it's a Seattle team that 5-0 in their last 5 tries, a division road dog under McDonald. He's been very, very good in this role. Meanwhile, the Rams just 1-6 against the spread. Their last 7 as divisional home chalk. I'm making cases for both these teams. I am. This is not one of my stronger opinions. Slight lean towards Seattle here. I'm not in any rush to step in front of LA. All the sharp money has come for the Rams early in the week, driving the 2.5 to 3 at +3 and 3.5. At 3.5, I look at the Seahawks. At 3, I think this game is priced appropriately. Maybe we're looking at an under between two teams that are pretty damn good on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, probably a game better to just watch and enjoy as a fan as opposed to trying to put your money on it. There's just a lot better spots here. Let's talk Oklahoma and Alabama. Then we're going to do sell me. We got, number 4 versus number 11. Really good matchup here. How do you break down Oklahoma and Alabama?
Sure. Well, let me look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. And by the way, guys, if you haven't gotten your free trial, get a free 7-day all access for oddslogic.com. It's a cool product to play around with. You know what I mean? I encourage you to try it because A, I use it every day, and B, it's good. All right. So check it out. Again, oddslogic.com/Teddy gets you a free 7-day trial, all access for the Odds Logic live odds screen. But looking at that live Odds Logic live odds screen right now, I'm seeing Alabama -6, the prevailing number. There's a couple of 5.5s out there. Total sitting 46/46.5. And in this one, I think I got a stronger opinion than the first team that we broke down. You know, Alabama lost. They got blown out by Oklahoma last year. It was 24-3 in Norman. It was a pretty bad loss. And one thing we've seen this year from Kalen DeBoer and this squad, they've been pretty good in these revenge in these revenge spots from a year ago. How about 8-1 ATS in their last 9 tries in this role? They've been beating up on good teams. They've been beating up on good teams at home. And the number looks short. You know, again, since they lost on opening day, and that was a poor performance on opening day, 8 straight wins for Alabama, winning most of them by margin. They're in revenge. They're at home, and they're laying less than a touchdown. You know, that to me feels a little bit cheap for the home team. Now, certainly from a situational standpoint, you have Oklahoma coming off that fun win at Tennessee in which, yeah, they played fairly well, but Tennessee made a lot of mistakes in that ball game. Tennessee turned the ball over again and again and gave the ball to Oklahoma in advantageous field position. The Sooners were able to cash in. John Mateer, the quarterback, who, again, has shown signs this year of playing well, but when he steps up in class, he's had issues. John Mateer, 19-29, 159 passing yards in that game, 5.5 yards per pass attempt, no touchdowns, 1 pick, and that was against Tennessee's defense. Meanwhile, Joey Aguilar against the defense for Oklahoma, 393 passing yards, 8.7 yards per pass attempt, 3 touchdowns. They ran the ball effectively. They won the turnover battle. I'm not convinced they can do either one in this matchup. Alabama, to me, a little bit of a one-way team right now. I think that opening day loss got the focus and got the line value that everyone was looking for. The Crimson Tide have been bet on ever since. I don't think that changes here. The number's short. The wise guys like this Sooners. The wise guys like the Sooners. They like this Sooners defense. I do not trust Mateer against this level of defense. I think Alabama finds a way to pull away. Crimson Tide or pass for this better.
All right, Teddy, we're going to do sell me. But first, tell everyone what you have out. Coming off a beautiful sweep in NFL. Let's do it again. I'm sure you got some plays up. Tell everyone what's up on your page at WagerTalk.
Sure. We went 3-0 in the NFL last Sunday. Looking to do it again this week. Right now, all I got is the NBA posted. As soon as I'm finished with this segment, But we got a couple of free play videos to do, and then we'll be putting up my plays for NBA and college football this weekend. So check back wt.buzz/TC to get on board. NBA already posted. Again, NFL and college to follow in the not too distant future.
All right. It's time for the segment you all don't want. It's a segment you all need. Let's bring in Dan. Dan randomly picks an NFL game. He then assigns myself and Teddy a side, and we have to make the case impromptu on the spot as to why said team will cover the spread. Where are we going this week, Dan?
Well, guys, the comments section is always like, Dan, you never give Andy any good teams. Like last week, I let Andy break down the Jets. But I never give him any good teams. So, okay, we're going to dispel that narrative because, gentlemen, what we're looking at here, we're looking at the Green Bay Packers taking on the New York Football Giants. And they're always, Dan, you make Andy break down the team that's, dog crap, whatever. Well, hey, guess what? You get to break down a favorite here, Andy. They're a touchdown favorite on the road following back-to-back losses. That is the Green Bay Packers. And, Teddy, you'll let us know about the New York Football Giants. But first, make the case. Coach is fired, Andy. This should be a slam dunk spot here for you and the Green Bay Packers. What say you? Sell me on that NFL side. I typically don't like laying 7 on the road, so you better have quite the case.
Give Andy the good team, the one that's dropped 2 in a row at home to Carolina and who just put up 7 points. Yeah. Thanks for giving me the good team there, Dan. Okay. Can you interest me in a team that has not done well at home and is now on the road? Yeah, that's the Green Bay Packers. Their last 2 road games, they've won. They beat the Steelers by 10 points. And this is just a fade of the Giants. Yeah, fired head coach. Their star running back is out. Now their star quarterback is out with, 6 trips to the blue tent with concussion protocol. Enter famous Jameis. There's a reason why he hasn't been playing all year on this team or any other team. It's because he throws a lot of passes to the other team. And not only that, their rush defense is truly horrific. They've given up over 200 yards rushing average in the last 3 games. This is a perfect spot for Green Bay to get back to basics. Let's run the ball with Josh Jacobs. Let's take advantage of this really bad rushing defense. And where's the motivation for the Giants? I mean, come on. All the wind has been taken out of their sails. This is an impossible job for an interim coach to come in and try and fire up the troops. They're down Neighbors. They're down Scatboth. They're down Jackson Dart. They're basically playing a backup team. Great get-right spot for Green Bay. I have no problem laying the touchdown here on the Packers on the road.
No problem laying the touchdown for Mike Kafka's new audition for potentially a head coaching job. And, Teddy, let Jameis cook. Jameis Winston, not Russell Wilson, will be playing quarterback. Sell me on the New York Football Giants.
Well, let's start with this. It's Jameis Winston at quarterback, not Russell Wilson. But the clear issue here, well, there's 2 of them. First, you have the new coach bump. And I know that Tennessee didn't react well to the new coach bump when they faced New England. That said, historically, in the NFL, you like a team that first week after the coach got fired. And this is that for the G-men. Motivation? Everyone's playing for their jobs, man. It's not like, it's the NFL. They're not sitting around, oh, yeah, we'll worry about it next time. You guys are playing for millions of dollars personally every week. I'm not expecting anything but an effort, a concerted effort from the Giants on Sunday. But the bigger issue here is Green Bay. We've seen this Packers team. Let me just get all the numbers right here. Packers been laying more than a field goal this year. They laid 7.5 to Cleveland and lost. They laid 6.5 to Dallas and tied. They laid 15 to Cincinnati. I was with Green Bay in that game. Never sniffed a point spread cover. Really lucky to win that game by 9. They could have lost straight up. Against Arizona, laying 7. They barely won that game. Ended up winning by 4. 13.5 against Carolina. Lose straight up. So that, my friends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this year they've been favored by more than a field goal. 5 times they've lost against the spread. That is an emerging trend worth riding. Give me the G points.
For what it's worth, 20-14 is that trend, Teddy, when following the coach being fired. That's since 2010. 20-14 against the spread record, and you're flipping a coin on the money line. It's 17-17. So if you like riding that, that could be something. Sorry, Andy, I maybe let out the bag, which I have in my circa plays. But comment below and let us know which side you were sold on, Packers and Giants, and comment below what game maybe you want to hear for next week. But as always, guys, I love this segment, and I look forward to it every single week, as I do hearing about the wing sauce with Marco coming up here. Well done, both of you, gentlemen. But Andy, I gave you a side again that I probably already didn't want. I'm sorry.
This is great. Teddy, thank you so much. Let's get another sweep in NFL. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Andy. And of course, be sure to tune in right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel for End Zone Live on Sunday. And of course, for the WagerTalk Opening Line Report next Monday. Cheers.
All right. Yeah, opening line report Mondays at 11. I watch the show while I'm getting ready for Wager Talk today. So great comment in the comment section. Fat Sean, can we investigate the women's college basketball from last night in Hawaii? They were minus 41.5 favorites over a D2 school with a team total of 73.5, and they scored a total of 46 points after OT. Yes, Fat Sean, no investigation needed. They were 1 of 26 from threes, and the cat was out of the bag with this team. They struggled against Portland State in their first game. There was no reason to be betting anything on Hawaii women's basketball. They are a fade when they're that big of favorites. Someone asked about the Grey Cup. I will go with the Rough Riders. They've been the best team all year. This is a 3.5 point spread. I have no problem playing the money line or laying the minus 3.5. All right, bet you guys didn't expect me to come with the heat on the Hawaii women's basketball program. All right, let's bring on Marco and let's talk some more football. Marco, were you on Hawaii over St. Mary's?
No, I was not.
Okay, well, neither was I. I just looked that up. All right, we got some big games here. We got our sauce of the week. Let's jump right into it. Chiefs and Broncos, probably second best game on the card. I think the Seahawks and Rams might be best, but man, this one's a doozy. I have this in my super contest plays. I hope we're on the same side. We get the Chiefs -4, over under 44.5. What's your breakdown on this one?
Well, let's just call this what it is. It's the public perception game of the week. It might be the public perception game of the year because you've got the Denver Broncos coming in here as a favorite against the 8-2 Denver Broncos, who are getting no respect. And all you're going to hear this week is Andy Reid coming off a bye. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And we know Andy Reid in his head coaching career off of a bye is 22-4 straight up. He was 13-1 with the Eagles, now 9-3 with the Kansas City Chiefs. The public is going to bet Kansas City. We've talked to numerous bookmakers around town, various radio shows I do. When I talk to them, I joke with them. I said, you guys have the Kansas City Chiefs as the favorite still in the future book to win the Super Bowl. And do you know if the season ended right now before this Sunday's games, right now, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. That's how much the public believes in Kansas City. And we're looking at a line of 4. I can't get to the window and lay 4 in this game. And everybody's going to point out last Thursday night's game, the ugly performance by Denver against the Raiders. Well, when we did bet on it, I said, this is a game that the Broncos have one goal. They want to get in and they get out. I used the under on bet on it, and I used the Raiders for my clients. And that's exactly what Denver did. It was vanilla of a performance as you could have. They were playing their third game in 11 days. And so just totally throw that game out. And they've had like a mini bye because they come on off the Thursday. So even though Kansas City has the full bye week, they're getting 10 days of themselves to prepare for this game. And I think they started to prepare for it the week they were playing the Raiders because they really didn't need to do much to beat the Raiders. I'm taking the inflated number. I just cannot see Kansas City as a 4-point favorite. Denver does have a good defense. The only time this defense really got shredded was that game against the Giants. But if you remember the situation going into that game, Denver was returning from London. Not only did they play in London the week before, they played on the East Coast the week before that, and then come home without the bye week. And played in the altitude. Fatigue definitely was a factor in that game for them, and they gave up a ton of points, but found a way to win it at the end. I'm going to go ahead and take Denver plus the points here. What would be perfect for the NFL and for the Las Vegas books is to see this game land with Kansas City winning by 3, keeping them alive in the playoffs, because if they lose this game to Denver, they're 3.5 games back in the division, and they're going to have no shot of winning the division. So let's call it Denver plus 4, and I see it as a field goal either way, but I'm going to go ahead and take the field goal with Denver winning 23-20.
Oh, I love it. 23-20. All right. If the final score is 23-20, Marco's buying everybody dinner. I've just decided that's a rule. Carmine asked him, please stop texting him pictures of the desserts you're having every night. Come on, Marco, what are you doing? You're making him food jealous. I'm going against you, Marco. I'm going to be the square dog and lay it with the Chiefs. I just don't trust a Broncos team whose wins include Tennessee, both the New York teams, Cincinnati, Vegas, Houston with Davis Mills. So, but we can both we can both do well on this game. Let's talk Notre Dame and Pitt. Interesting matchup here. Notre Dame 7 wins in a row, Pitt 5 wins in a row, but bookmakers know who's the better team here. Question is Notre Dame going to cover this 12.5, or do you like the over/under 55?
Well, looking at this game, it's a big week in Pittsburgh. Obviously, College Game Day is coming to Pittsburgh. That doesn't happen very often. Notre Dame has the national playoffs in their sight, and if they win out, they're in. Even though they have 2 losses, I think they're a slam dunk to get in, because the 2 losses came at the first 2 games of the season. They came by a grand total of 4 points, and they came to 2 top 25 teams, actually 2 top 10 teams in Miami and Texas A&M. So no shame there. During Notre Dame's 7-game winning streak, only one team topped 24 points against them. In fact, they've held 5 of the 7 opponents during this winning streak to 13 points or less. The Notre Dame defense, if you remove the Navy game, which we know Navy does one thing, they run the ball a gazillion times, so they're going to get yardage. If you take that game out and look at their other 8 games this season, Notre Dame is holding their opponents defensively to 2.82 yards per rush and just 89 yards per game. That's going to make Pitt one-dimensional. And if you make Pitt one-dimensional, Notre Dame is going to be able to turn that pass rush loose, and they're going to create turnovers. If you look at Pitt's last game against Stanford, they had 4 turnovers in that game. In my opinion, Notre Dame is too physical for Pitt. Pitt comes out of the ACC, and to me, the ACC over the last 5 years has become the Big 12. All it is offense, no defense. And I think that physicality of Notre Dame is going to wear on Pitt. And put another factor in. I don't like to do this a lot, but I'm going to throw it out there. I said they should be in no problem with 2 losses. But because they don't have a conference affiliation, you may have creep into the back of their minds that we might need some style points. And given that Pitt is a top 25 team, you're going to look at Notre Dame's not going to take their foot off the gas with the lead. So that's another reason for me to go ahead and look and lay the points with Notre Dame. But here's the final reason, okay? I've been doing this for I don't know how long, okay? 4.5 decades, 46 to be exact years of doing this business. I have never in my life seen a head coach answer a question in a press conference like Pitt's head coach, Pat Narduzzi, did this week. He was asked, how big is this game for the Pitt program? He answered, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. This is not an ACC game. I would gladly lose this game 103 or 110-10, as long as we win the next 2 ACC games and play for the conference championship. This game, has no bearing on our season. You've got to be absolutely kidding me to make a statement like that in a press conference. And what I read it as, he's given his team a built-in excuse for losing this game if they lose. I'm going to lay it with Notre Dame, and I think they're not going to take their foot off the gas. I think that Notre Dame's going to put up a lot of points in this game. I got Notre Dame winning 41-23.
That's a wild comment. I didn't see that. That is wild.
Yeah.
Is that a landline ringing?
That was the Lion line that never gets a phone call except today. So it definitely was a scammer trying to sell me probably solar.
Cash the over half a landline for Marco.
It was probably Narduzzi calling saying, "Hey, don't tell people about what I said." The next day, I was talking about how we can play them in a parking lot and we'll be ready to go. That was Narduzzi saying, "Come on, Marco, come on, you're supposed to be a Pitt guy."
That's hilarious. Joe says it's time for lemon pepper cupcakes. Marco, I actually looked this up to see if this is a real thing, and not only is it a real thing, they look incredible. Someone even fills them with guava filling, so now I may have something to try this afternoon. Try and make lemon pepper cupcakes. So
I could just see you making cupcakes, Andy.
Well, my wife is a fantastic baker. She's fantastic, and so I bet I could talk her into helping me. I may do that next week. We'll bring some lemon pepper cupcakes next Friday. So, Marco,
be sure to tag Carmine then too.
Oh, I'll take pictures and text him over to Carm. Yes. Marco, we always do sauce of the week. Before we do that, tell everyone what you have up. It's a huge weekend. We got Weekend Warrior. Every sport is pretty much going. What do you have up for everyone?
Well, we also have this week, if everybody is, the Weekend Warrior's been fantastic. Everybody loves that. You want to make that even better? We've got a 10-day package for $99 right now. 10 days, $99. That's everything, not just the college and pro football. You'll get every sport that's going on. So you can jump on board that. But yours truly has another special going this week. And I want to thank everybody for all of the birthday wishes last week. We had that big birthday bash. We delivered another 5% winner with Nebraska. Now 36-16 on those 5% plays. We've put together a deal through the rest of the football season, right through the Super Bowl. You'll get every play, and not every play just in football. You'll get every play I have in every sport. Guys, we are on a 23-9 run the last 15 days. That's resulted in a profit of $3,497. You can pick this package up, normally $99 per week. There's 13 weeks from now till the Super Bowl. That would cost you almost $1,300. We're giving it to you for $749. Take advantage of that package over at WagerTalk. You can go directly to my homepage at wt.buzz/MD. And guys, yes, we are going to have another 5% sometime this weekend. So get on board over at WagerTalk.
All right, it's time. Sauce of the week. Marco gives his wing sauce of the week, compares it to a team, a player, a coach. Who you got this week?
Well, we're going to go with a player. And the last few weeks, I've been kind of a dick with some of the people that I've called out. This week, I'm going to be a nice guy. And we're going to go to the Indiana quarterback, Fernando Heis Mendoza.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Mendoza last week, guys, and I know Penn State has had a rough year, but Dan can tell you there's nothing like that crowd, that fan base in Penn State to take over 2 minutes left in the game, actually 1:51 left on the clock, starting at your own 20-yard line, no timeouts, And on the first play, you're sacked for a 7-yard loss. So you're back to your 13-yard line. Clock is running. You've got no timeouts. He then proceeds to connect on a 22-yard pass, a 12-yard pass, a 29-yard pass, a 17-yard pass, and then on 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line, just 36 seconds left, he hit the game winner on probably the catch of the season by Omar Cooper Jr. To win. That was an absolute clinic on running the 2-minute drill with no timeouts. And if you notice the passes that he completed that I said, every one of those passes were over 10 yards. Why is that significant? Because when you have no timeouts, you need to stop the clock somehow. You either have to have a pass play that goes out of bounds, or you get the first down where you get the chance to reset while they're resetting the chains. That was an absolute magnificent drive in a hostile environment. And for you, Mr. Mendoza, you get the sweet chili sauce, because that drive was absolutely sweet and you were chill, had ice running through your veins, my man. And I think you did lock up the Heisman Trophy, unless you absolutely would have to shit the bed the last couple games of the season. That is your Heisman Trophy winner.
I mean, Heisman Mendoza is just, how has that not been? You just coined it, Mount Marco, so you know this thing's going to take off. The production team's going to clip this and send it out, and all of a sudden it's going to be hashtag Heisman Mendoza. so funny. It was sweet. I was trying to think of a better college catch. Off the top of my head, I couldn't really. There's got to be some out there, but that catch was just.
It's the combination, not only of the catch, Andy, but the circumstances of the catch. We've had some spectacular catches, but how many of them were for game winners like that? That's what puts it over the top. No timeouts, 3rd and goal. That was, the call. The call was insane. I had to literally replay that call. I kept hitting rewind because I couldn't understand what the hell he was saying. Could you on the first?
I was too busy yelling and screaming. I wasn't listening to Gus Johnson. I was, oh my God. I'm texting all my IU friends because we all graduated from IU. So RJ says Chris Carter made an amazing catch back in the day. Okay, I'll look that one up. But yeah, circumstances, absolutely incredible. Sweet chili sauce. It was sweet. It was a sweet one. So. All right, Marco. Next week, I'm going to try these lemon pepper cupcakes. Maybe I'll send some.
Bring them on the air. We got to see them.
All right, that's a done deal. Marco, everybody, always bringing the heat. Great breakdowns. You can grab a Weekend Warrior pass for him, all of his football plays, and that long-term special. We always recommend. You want to get plays? Great. Get a package, a multi-day package. So, Dan, let's do all around the world, and then let's talk about our picks in the Super Contest here. Like I said, we got a lot of emails saying, would you start giving out some Brooklyn Nets player props? Absolutely, yes, I will. Igor Demon, that's false. We did not get one email about that. Igor Demon, over 1.5 made threes. Listen, this is a client play. He went over the first 2 games of the season, then a slump, but he settled back in. Cam Thomas is out of the lineup. Last 3 games without Cam Thomas, he's gone over. His minutes are up. He's averaging 5.7 3-point attempts in those games, shooting 46.7% from threes, and the Magic are bottom 10 defending threes to guards. This is a really good play. Going to UFC, Kyle Dawkins inside the distance. This is a theme this weekend, fading the old fighters. Gerald Meerschaert has 57 career fights, and Father Time has not only caught up with him, it looks like it's passed him. He was truly awful and slow in his last fight. Dawkins is getting his second run in UFC. He comes back in the UFC and nukes his opponent within the first minute of the fight. Dawkins can wrestle, and that's Gerald Meerschaert's path to victory, trying to get on the ground. Dawkins isn't going to let that happen. Look for Dawkins to get the win in a violent fashion. And then 49ers Cardinals. This is a client play as well. I think the books are asleep on this one. Michael Wilson over 46.5 receiving. Marvin Harrison's out. Zay Jones is out. So your pass catchers are McBride, Dortch, and Michael Wilson. And even with Harrison and Jones in the lineup, he had 3+ catches. the last 4 games, and the 49ers, last 3 games, they've given up 57 yards passing. Jacoby Brissett's been over 250 yards in his 4 starts. This line is entirely too low. I put this out as a client play. I expect this to go past 50, so lock this thing in. Michael Wilson over his receiving. All right, time to bring in Dan. Dan, we're going over our super contest picks. Just a reminder to everybody, Dan is recording the show, and his official breakdowns in much more detail will be up later today. So
30 minutes of detail, Andy. 30 minutes of detail to be
love
able
it.
to be
Love
sure.
it. All right,
it's posted right now. You can search. It's Let's Make Millions. If you just search Circa Wager Talk Millions, you can find the show. But me and Adam Rosenberg make it every week, and it's up now. It's up now.
Oh, it's already up. Perfect. All right, I'll share my picks here. I struggled. I can't say I'm super confident about a lot of these, but I'll start with this Bengals and Steelers. I don't think the Steelers team is very good. They've lost 3 out of 4. They lost outright to this Bengals team. They talk about not making adjustments. They let Jamar Chase do whatever he wanted, and that win against the Colts, 6 turnovers. How is that going to continue? They looked really bad, and I think this Bengals team, while their defense is really bad, Dan, their own players called them out. I've never seen that where their offensive players is like, hey, defense, you mind doing something? At some point, pride becomes a part. These guys are professional athletes and they're fighting for jobs. So I like the Bengals to not win, but cover this one. Chargers, this is just a fade of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence bit you pretty bad last week, I believe, Dan. Did you see this stat? Davis Mills has 6 career NFL wins. 3 of them are head-to-head against Trevor Lawrence.
He's Trevor Lawrence's father. Trevor Lawrence's father. That one hurt. I had the Jags last week against Houston. We were feeling really good. I left and I texted my buddy. I was like, oh man, we lost the Bucs game, but hey, you know what? At least we went 3-1 and we were both feeling good. The next time I get back to my phone, I have like 10 texts from Berg and he's like, dude, we're about to lose. We're going to lose. We lost. And I was like, we had a 19-point lead in the 4th quarter.
Against
and they
Davis
somehow
Mills.
lost.
This Jags team is just so fadeable. And this Chargers team, their offensive line isn't very good, but Gadsden is back, and I think you can make the case this might be the best wide receiving core in the league. Jags can't stop the pass. Herbert, I have Herbert on my fantasy team, and I am just salivating at what he's going to do to this team. So, Bucks plus 5.5 at the Bills. The Bills, listen, their regular season Super Bowl was a home game to the Chiefs. We know that. But how good have they been at home? Lost to the Patriots, beat the Saints, beat the Dolphins, should have lost to the Ravens. This Bucks team has got a pretty good rush defense. Their Achilles heel is the pass defense, and this Bills team cannot stretch the field. I think you can slow down this Bills offense. That's too many points for the Bucks at the Bills. Ravens. So the Ravens and Chiefs I just have in the same category of we cannot screw around. The Ravens and Chiefs have to be winning these games. They cannot screw around. This is a Browns team that just really can't muster up a whole lot. They lost to the Jets. They got blown out to the Patriots, and this Ravens team, they took care of business. They won by more than 7 points. So I just think this is Lamar and the Ravens to the moon. And then the Chiefs, like I said, -4 at the Broncos. There's a sneaky injury that I don't think people are taking into account. J.K. Dobbins is not playing. He's not great, okay, but he is a veteran. So now,
and he's been a huge part of that team too.
Now you're depending on rookie R.J. Harvey, who has not looked like a great rusher of the ball.
Fine receiver, not a great rusher. Yeah.
Pass protection. I got some questions about that. And Bo Nix, they put up 10 points against the Las Vegas Raiders. They also put up 18 points against Houston. I think they're a little bit fraudulent, so I'll take the Chiefs to lay the wood. So Bengals, Chargers, Bucks, Ravens, Chiefs. I know 2 of them we're going straight head-to-head. What are those?
Yes, we are straight head-to-head. These are the picks for the Wooder and Wawa entry in the Circa Million contest. I believe out of the 10 weeks we've been picking, Andy,
Stop.
we have what? You don't like the Wooder and Wawa?
No, Jacksonville. You're
Oh
going
yeah,
right
yeah.
back to
See, I thought you were laughing about the joke of AI content we have there, but you're laughing that I'm going back to we're gluttons for punishment here. Jacksonville. That's the. You didn't think that was going to be the one we were head to head on, did you? It's Buffalo. We're laying it with Buffalo. It's a circle the wagons game for the Buffalo Bills, and nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Injuries, I think, are just starting to mount. No Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin. And I also think, not on the injury report, I don't think Baker Mayfield looks right. I thought, after the bye, he would maybe recover a little bit nicer. I think there's a shoulder injury going on that's not being reported with Baker Mayfield. But, Andy, the one that I know you want the thoughts on here, how the hell did we end up on Jacksonville? Before Jacksonville lost to Seattle, they have been one of the best teams at home. They, as a matter of fact, beat the Chiefs at home. If people remember back on that Monday Night Football game, before that Seattle game, won and covered all 3 of their home games. They've been a really nice home team. And then you're going to argue, well, they just blew that game against the Texans and Davis Mills. Sure, but the Texans are a terrific home team. And I feel like, is there a potential for the hangover heading into this game the way that they lost? Sure. But there's also a potential that this team is not going to allow themselves to keep that back door swinging open. And this is a Chargers team who's heading into the bye. And this team just year over year is a team that heading into the bye, sometimes it's a bet on, sometimes it's a bet against. 2-8-1. The game before the bye week is the Chargers. So I think this is a team who also, Andy, has traveled back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Their East Coast trips, they haven't covered one of their East Coast trips yet. They've won them, but they haven't covered a single game on the East Coast. And this is now, I believe, the 4th time that they're traveling east. So just more travel stuff, more spot stuff than it being a true handicap. And I think the real thing that put me over on allowing Berg to talk me into Jacksonville that I said we're never betting on again is I'm just not so sure that this Chargers defense that gets ballyhooed is all that much better than this Jacksonville defense, who is one of the sneakier, better defenses in the league, especially against the run. So that's the thoughts from me there on Jacksonville. Laying it with that Atlanta. My favorite pick of the week is Minnesota. I'm not a believer in this Bears team. This Bears team is not going to get to push the ball up and down the field on the Giants and the Bengals, which is why the market is so high on them. Flores versus young quarterbacks, I'm going to take that matchup every time, especially under the key number there. So those are the picks for me, Andy, and I let the cat out of the bag why I like the Giants. Disgusting pick on the board, but I think Mike Kafka is going to be a head coach in the NFL, whether he wins this job for the Giants or he gets hired elsewhere. Mike Kafka's an extremely terrific head coach candidate who was already being interviewed. You asked, where's the motivation there? Mike Kafka's auditioning for a job. And I think they have at least enough talent defensively to hang around with an offense that's not looked too great in Green Bay.
Well, I will tell you, I was like, why didn't I land on them? I have 3 at Bet Online. So you have the better number. Yeah. So they
3 on the Giants?
No. I'm sorry, Vikings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Vikings.
I was like, holy shit. I was like, I'm picking Green Bay then. Andy picked Green Bay.
No, I'm sorry. I was like, how did I not land on the Vikings over the Bears? That's why, because they get.
How does yours get graded? Because I was looking into how they do the Circa Million contest, because that 7, I was like, I could see it being around 7. I learned that it's not a loss like it would be in Survivor. If you push your play, you end up actually getting a half point. So it at least would count towards our total. Okay, yeah. So that's I don't worry as much about being on a half, being off a half, because you can get a half win.
Yeah, I've fallen behind a little bit, so I basically can't have a losing.
This is the week. You're at least going 3-2. You're at least going 3-2.
God, I just need to see one go in. So, all right. Well, good luck to us. We're going head to head, so maybe we'll go 1-1. Split 1-1.
I know. I wish that we have all these fun things that we do with the chat. It's like I want an all access, Andy pass for 3 days if I win. Andy and I'll have to think of something, but we have 2 games.
No. This is easy. On one. This is easy. It's Jacksonville and Chargers. Let's go head to head. Jacksonville.
Okay.
And
comment below what you think the punishment should be. I'll take the Jag. I can't believe the first bet we're doing on the show. I have to have the Jags. Masterful gambit by you, Andy. Comment below, what does the loser have to do? I'll take the +3. You take the -3. And that's what we'll grade it at. If it's a push, who knows? We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll both dress like idiots. But comment below and let us know, what does loser do, and who do you agree with? I have a feeling
if it's a push, Marco has to do the punishment.
Yeah. If it's a push, Marco has to do it. Deal.
For no reason. So, all right. Great week of shows. Thank you so much to the chat. Thank you so much to Dan. Again, Sunday NFL props pack is up 5%. UFC pack is up. We're unleashing our first official boxing play. We had it's our second one. We officially had our first one up. We didn't release it to the public, but we're 1-0 in those. So boxing play is half price. We're going to show you guys how to build bankrolls, and we have some big plays coming up. 3-day pass is a great way, or if you just want individual plays, it's over at wt.buzz/AL. We're up 30 units in November. Let's build those bankrolls this weekend, guys. Let's have a big one. Titans, check your email. If they haven't sent it to you already, email into customer support and you get your free 3-day pass for beating me on our bet last weekend. No. I'm just gonna say no.
No shaving. No shave. Shaving is out. We're both on air for a living. We're just gonna walk around with one eyebrow. Come on, RJ.
Andy Lang is a prop king. Thank you very much. Yes, props been a really, really good source of revenue and profits for us over the last couple years. So all props are up. NBA props pack is up as well for tonight. All right, thanks very much. Hit the like button. Leave a comment below. What's the punishment for myself and Dan? We're going head to head on the Chargers and the Jaguars. Good luck this weekend. We're going to be back on Monday. Break down how the weekend went and go over how we're going to make money next week. Thanks for joining, everyone. Good luck on your bets. Take care.